In the quiet chambers of the soul, a transformation begins not with a shout, but with the decision to finally be still. Welcome. If you have found your way here, it is likely because you are tired, not merely from the labor of your days, but from the exhausting performance of a life lived for an invisible audience, the invisible stage. We live in an era that demands our constant presence, yet ignores our essence. We have been conditioned to believe that if a moment isn't captured, shared, and validated, it didn't truly happen. We post, we respond, and we offer endless explanations to digital strangers who would not pause to help us if we collapsed in the street. We have become our own harshest observers, weighing every decision against the imagined scales of a crowd that forgot our faces the moment they scrolled past. This is the endless stage act. It is a psychological cage where our confidence is borrowed and our fears are inherited. When you live as if you are always being watched, your movements become stiff, your words calculated, and your energy hesitant. You lose your own rhythm because you are dancing to the erratic beat of public opinion. Over time, the mask you wear to please the world becomes the face you forget how to remove. The Stoic Reclamation, Proairesis. The ancient Stoics recognized this internal fragmentation centuries before the first screen ever flickered to life. They spoke of proairesis, the disciplined focus on the present moment and the profound care for the inner self. Consider the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He held the power of the known world in his hands, yet he did not seek the world's applause. Instead, he retreated into the silence of his journals, writing reflections meant for no eyes but his own. He understood a truth we have forgotten: real power grows in silence. This journey we are embarking on today is not about social withdrawal or becoming cold. It is about building an inner stability so grounded that the opinions of others fade into a harmless background hum. It is about shifting from the discipline of desire, where we crave what we cannot control, to a mastery of the self. Practical exercise, the mirror audit. To begin reclaiming your life from the echo chamber of external validation, we must first identify where your energy is leaking. The exercise: identify the static. Sit in a quiet space for 10 minutes with a journal. Pinpoint one consistent source of static in your life. Is it a specific social media app that leaves you feeling inadequate? A relationship that requires you to perform a version of yourself you don't recognize? An account that triggers immediate self-doubt? The energy test. Run this source through a simple filter. After engaging with this, do I feel stronger or weaker? If the answer is weaker, you are currently bleeding for something that does not serve your growth. The silent contract. For the next 24 hours, commit to explain nothing. If you make a choice for yourself, whether it's what you eat, how you spend your evening, or a boundary you set, do not justify it to anyone who doesn't share your pillow or pay your bills. Notice the surge of power that comes when you stop defending your right to exist. The promise of the path. Most will hear these words, nod in agreement, and then immediately return to the digital hunt for attention. But you are here because you are ready to act. You are ready to sign a contract with yourself that says, I am done performing. I am building. Over the following lessons, we will explore 5 core pillars of the silent life. Each is a link in a chain. To skip one is to lose the core of the transformation. We will learn to silence the static, move without an audience, treat our energy as expensive wealth, kill the echo chambers that keep us small, and protect the sacred comeback story that is currently unfolding in your life. If you feel this in your bones, If you are exhausted from living for everyone except yourself, then let this be your first act of rebellion against the noise. Choose depth over display. Choose focus over fame. Step into the silence. Your life is waiting. Lesson 1. Silencing the static. The first step in reclaiming your life is recognizing that every morning, within minutes of waking, you make a silent, critical decision. It is the choice between commanding your day or allowing the day to command you. For most of us, this choice is made unconsciously. We reach for our phones before our eyes have even fully adjusted to the light. In that single motion, we invite 1,000 voices into our private sanctuary. The psychology of feeding the beast. When you scroll through headlines or social feeds upon waking, you are absorbing the tension, successes, and meltdowns of digital strangers. Your mental clarity is hijacked before you've even had your first sip of coffee. This is what the Stoics would call feeding the beast, the relentless buzz of opinions and emotional noise that thrives on your attention. This noise is likely in charge of your life right now. You read about a peer's promotion and suddenly question your own pace. A single critical comment on a post can derail your mood for an entire afternoon. You internalize global crises as if it were your personal mission to carry the weight of the world. Epictetus, who rose from slavery to become one of the greatest Stoic teachers, understood that true wealth is not about what we own, but about needing very little. He was speaking specifically about mental wealth, the rare and precious ability to curate exactly what occupies your attention. The Stoics guarded their thoughts like priceless treasures because they knew that the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your character. Practical exercise, the architecture of silence. To stop the leakage of your mental energy, you must build a structure that protects your focus. Here is a 3-tiered method to silence the static. The sacred hour. Dedicate the first 60 minutes of your day entirely to yourself. This means no screens, no news, and no external stresses. Use this time for breath, movement, or reflection. This is not a luxury. In our overstimulated world, it is a survival tactic for the soul. The drain filter. When someone offers an unsolicited opinion or a projection of their own insecurity, visualize it passing through a sieve. You are under no obligation to absorb the emotional weight that others try to hand you. Smile, acknowledge, and let it pass through. The vow of non-justification. Practice the art of explaining nothing. You do not need to defend your path or your decisions to those who do not share your journey. The moment you stop defending your life is the moment you truly begin living it. When you remove this static, something rare happens. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You remember what you want, rather than what the world has told you to want. You become grounded, not because you are cold or indifferent, but because you have returned to your center. Lesson 2. Moving like nobody's watching. If you observe the world closely, you will see that most people no longer move freely. Their posture is stiff, their words are calculated, and their energy is hesitant. They are acting as if they are being watched by an invisible audience, curating their lives like public profiles for people they will never meet. The danger of the borrowed life. Living as if you are under a microscope leads to a profound sense of paralysis and anxiety. When you perform for others, you walk with borrowed confidence and dream with borrowed fear. You lose your own natural rhythm. Seneca once wrote, "Show me a man who is content to be seen as he is." He wasn't advocating for a lack of standards, but for a profound honesty. He was describing a person who is not seeking to impress, but is deeply committed to the process of becoming. Real power does not need to shout or perform. it simply moves with intention. Practical exercise, the invisible work. Ask yourself, would you still chase your current goals if no one could ever see you succeed? If the answer is no, then your life does not belong to you. It belongs to the strangers you are trying to impress. Drop the performance. Every time you hesitate because of how an action might look, you chip away at your potential. Start showing up for yourself instead of the crowd. Focus on the process, not the brand. Stop obsessing over how you are perceived and start obsessing over how you are progressing. You are a human being, not a marketing campaign. Build in the shadows. The Stoics built their character in the quiet of their own minds. Not every milestone needs a witness. Some of the most powerful transformations happen behind closed doors, where there is no one to clap for you. When you stop living for the crowd, your movements become fluid and your presence deepens. People will feel your strength, even if they cannot explain why. Reclaim the moment and drop the lens. Lesson 3. Keeping your energy expensive. There is a fundamental truth that, once embraced, shifts your entire perspective on life. Your energy is your most precious currency. Every morning, you wake up with a finite supply, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Imagine waking up with a stack of invisible gold in your pocket, only to spend the day handing it out like free samples to people who drain you, arguments that lead nowhere, and headlines that leave you feeling powerless. The Stoic economy of attention. Marcus Aurelius, ruling over the vast Roman Empire, understood that a leader's energy must be guarded with absolute precision. He wrote, "Be content to manage the present." He realized that energy fractured across different timelines, worrying about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow, is energy wasted. The Stoics did not just manage their schedules, they guarded their attention. In the modern world, generosity is often misidentified as saying yes to everyone. But saying yes to something unimportant is a silent no to something meaningful. True generosity is only possible when you are full enough to give, and you only remain full by treating your energy like a premium asset. Practical exercise. The value filter and the clean no. To stop the bleeding of your internal wealth, you must implement a rigorous screening process for everything that seeks a piece of you. The value filter. Run your schedule through a single question. Does this move my life forward? The energy test. Assess your habits. Do you feel stronger or weaker after scrolling that feed or engaging in that gossip? The clean no. Practice saying no like a leader, without the timid sugarcoating or the need for a 3-paragraph justification. Use phrases like, "No, I'm not available for that," or "No, that's not aligned with my priorities." When you make your presence less available, it becomes more powerful. When you speak less often, your words carry the weight of gold. Lesson 4. Killing the echo chamber. We often live surrounded by mirrors, people and algorithms that only reflect what we already believe and fear. This echo chamber feels safe because it provides constant validation, but comfort is the enemy of wisdom. Smart people stay stuck because they choose the warmth of being right over the cold clarity of growth. The humility of the wise. Socrates built a legacy on the premise that true wisdom begins with admitting you know nothing. An echo chamber robs you of this humility, keeping you spinning in the same safe routines while the world moves on. The Stoics did not just tolerate challenges to their thinking, they actively sought them out because they refused to live small lives wrapped in soft lies. Practical exercise, the intellectual audit. To break free from the comfort trap, you must intentionally disrupt your current mental landscape. Audit your circle. If everyone around you agrees with everything you say, you aren't in a community, you're in a trap. Seek out people who challenge your thinking without disrespecting your character. Recalibrate the algorithm. Your feed is not neutral. Intentionally read books or watch thinkers who make you uncomfortable, not to agree with them, but to expand the boundaries of your own mind. The inheritance question. Ask of your beliefs. Did I choose this, or did I simply inherit it? Just because a thought has worked before doesn't mean it is still serving your future self. The ability to hold conflicting ideas in your mind without emotional panic is a rare and formidable power. It is the difference between repeating a script and owning your voice. Lesson 5. Watch, don't react. We have all experienced it. A sharp comment, a frustrating delay, or a provocative headline that makes our heart rate spike. In those moments, we are often pulled like puppets by our old wiring. We fire back a response we later regret because we didn't actually respond, we reacted. We have essentially outsourced our peace to the external world, allowing digital strangers or minor inconveniences to own our internal state. The gap of freedom. The Stoics mastered a psychological secret that remains the ultimate tool for inner stability. Between what happens and how you respond, there is a space. And in that space lies your freedom. Epictetus, who endured the hardships of slavery, understood that events themselves do not disturb us. Rather, it is our interpretation of them that causes suffering. The goal is not to become a statue without feelings, but to become an observer of your own mind. You are not obligated to react immediately or respond to every hook that is tossed your way. By widening the gap between a stimulus and your action, you move from the wound, which reacts out of pain or ego, to the mind, which responds with wisdom. Practical exercise, the scientist of self. To cultivate this unshakable presence, you must practice detaching from the immediate emotional impulse. Label the emotion. When you feel anger, anxiety, or the urge to defend yourself rising, name it silently. Say, I am experiencing the sensation of anger. This simple linguistic shift moves you from being the emotion to observing the emotion. The 3-breath rule. Before replying to a critique or a trigger, force a pause. In those few seconds, ask yourself, is this worth my energy, or is this just my ego seeking validation? Contain, don't suppress. Think of your emotions like weather passing over a mountain. You don't try to stop the rain, but you remain grounded as the mountain while the storm moves through. You are containing the energy, not exploding or pretending it doesn't exist. Lesson 6. Abandoning clout for craft. In our modern performance culture, a new addiction has taken hold, the pursuit of clout. We see people spending more time documenting their goals than actually achieving them. Entrepreneurs filming productivity clips instead of building businesses, or lifters posting about the gym more than they are lifting. This is a seductive fraud that provides the dopamine of recognition without the discipline of results. The trap of premature praise. When you publicize your goals too soon, your brain often confuses the praise for actual progress. You lose the hunger and the urgency required to finish the task because the claps have already satisfied your ego. Seneca warned that it is a shame to grow weary of the actual labor of excellence. True growth doesn't beg for an audience. It is forged in the shadows. Practical exercise. The silence challenge. To ensure your goals are true to you and not just socially attractive, you must learn to build in the dark. Share after, not during. Make it a rule to only discuss a project or a habit once the first major milestone is complete. Let your results be the first time the world hears about your progress. The visibility test. Ask yourself, if I could never post about this achievement, would I still want to do the work? If the answer is no, you are chasing clout, not craft. Choose legacy over likes. Focus on building something that will matter in 10 years, rather than something that will be forgotten when the algorithm changes tomorrow. By turning your back on the need for immediate validation, you become unstoppable. You stop being a brand and start being a human being of substance. Lesson 7. Protecting your comeback story. There is a final, vital truth that often remains unspoken. Life is constantly preparing you for something far greater than your current struggle. The storms you are weathering, the unexpected delays, and the silent, grinding progress no one sees are the raw materials of your comeback story. But a true transformation cannot fully unfold if you leak it piece by piece for the approval of others. The power of the unexpected. You cannot shock the world with your growth if you are live streaming the scaffolding. You cannot rise unexpectedly if your status updates are louder than your actual progress. The Stoics understood that greatness is forged in solitude, not through applause. Marcus Aurelius did not craft his meditations for content. He wrote them to shape his own character. He knew that arguing about what a good person should be was a waste of time compared to simply being one. Practical exercise, training in the shadows. To preserve the fire of your transformation, you must keep it internal, using it as fuel rather than for show. Starve the audience. Every time you explain your process to someone unqualified to understand your vision, you weaken it. Resist the urge to seek praise mid-metamorphosis. The private ledger. Document your breakthroughs in a private journal or a personal file. This is for your legacy and your own self-reflection, not for an algorithm. Reveal only results. Let your results be the thunder that breaks through the noise. Real growth doesn't announce itself until it is undeniable. Conclusion: becoming unshakable. We have navigated the 7 rules of the silent path, silencing the static, moving without an audience, guarding your energy, breaking the echo chamber, choosing response over reaction, abandoning clout for craft, and protecting your quiet rebuild. At the foundation of all these principles is a single, life-altering shift. In a world hungry for approval, the most powerful thing you can do is turn inward and master yourself. When you do this, the world begins to reflect your inner stability. People respect your boundaries because you finally set them. They value your time because you stopped wasting it on the trivial. The sovereignty of self. You will find that you no longer need to beg for permission or explain your path to anyone. You become your own source of clarity, discipline, and peace. This journey is not quick, and it is certainly not easy, but it is entirely yours. In a world of performance, your depth makes you rare. The world does not need more noise. It needs more people who are unmoved by it. So do not wait until you feel ready. Pick one rule from this script and implement it today. Start building, quietly, powerfully, and unshakably. I choose silence over noise.